Hello students, let's get back to our chapter 7. We have been studying these days about the archaeology, also about how to preserve our culture. As we continue this chapter, let's see today about our role in preservation of the museums. So let's go. According to the Indian Treasure Trove Act 1876, if any citizen suddenly finds any ancient artistic and antique article from a house, field, well, lake, etc. while digging, then he has to immediately notify to the officer of archaeological department. So students, what is it? According to the Treasure Trove Act, which was passed in 1876, if any citizen, if any person, while digging or in the field, in his while digging a well or field or a lake in his house, if he finds any artifacts, if he gets to see any antique piece, he is supposed to be informing. Whom he is supposed to be informing, students? To the officer of archaeological department. With this small effort, they can preserve valuable things which could have been lost due to the carelessness. Government has tried to obtain information regarding personal or private museums consisting expensive artistic pieces under the Act of 1972. So students, what? With these small efforts, by informing to the archaeological department, by your small effort, you can preserve valuable things which could have been lost due to the carelessness. Sometimes people think, what is there? Some old things we found. Some of us, we do not value that. But those who are in the archaeological department, in the museums and all, they know what is the value of these artifacts, okay? And so, what is that? Government has tried to obtain information regarding personal or private museums consisting expensive artistic pieces under the Act of 1972. So, according to the Act of 1972, the government has tried to get some information about or to find out the expensive artistic pieces which have been in the personal or the private museums. They have got that right by this Act of 1972. Systematically archived documents corresponding to each state provides better guidance to the historians and researchers. So students, when we have systematically archived documents, when any artifact is found, when the information is written properly about it and saved or properly kept it, the documents have been archived, they have been saved. It helps or it provides better guidance to the historians or the researchers, those who study about that particular artifacts or museums or about the whatever the monuments and whatever we have been talking about so far. Museums performs important task of preserving valuable things carefully. The best examples of the museums are given below. So students, what happens many times, the small artifacts or the articles you get to see in the museums. For example, while digging, while excavating, or while digging a building, you are going to build a new house, and while digging, you come across some statues, small statues or some plates or some coins and all. You inform it to the museums, you inform it to the archaeological department, they will preserve it in the museum. The proper precautions would be taken to preserve it. And then information has been written properly about it. It has been saved, which can help for the historians as well as the researchers to study. And now, which are the museums which have helped us to save this all? So let's see now. National museums, here we can see, they have given the names of the museums. Here, the museums are National Museum, which is in the city of Delhi, in Delhi state, okay. In Indian Museum, which is in Kolkata, found in the state of West Bengal. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Museum, which is also called as Prince of Wales Museum, which is in Mumbai, Maharashtra state. Salarganj Museum, which is in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. Rashtriya Manav Sangrhalaya, which is in Bhopal city, in the Madhya Pradesh MP state. Then in the Gujarat state, in the city of Ahmedabad, you have Lalabhai Dalpat Bhai Museum, which is known as the LD Institute of Indology. Then Sri Mahavir Jain Aradhana Kendra Koba, Gandhinagar, which is in Gujarat. Another one, Sri Hemachandan Charya Library, Patan, which is in Gujarat. Vadodara Museum and Picture Gallery, which is in Vadodara, in the state of Gujarat. So these are the names. It can be asked for you in the MCQs. So these are the museums, famous museums in the different states. Okay. It is a combined duty of general public and government to generate awareness towards the preservation and the protection of the museums. So it is a combined duty of the general public and government to generate awareness towards the preservation and the protection of the museum. Just as we have been talking about the different cultural heritage, we also talk about the museums and all. It becomes a duty to save the articles which you find while digging or excavating wells or a house. You are supposed to be informing the archaeological department and save this. Now, what is our role in the preservation of heritage? What is our role in the preservation of heritage? It is a 3 marks question, so therefore pay attention. If the central and state government, UNESCO and NGO, that is the non-government organizations, are performing their duties to preserve our valuable heritage, then as individuals one should play an effective role in that direction. So students, if the governments or UNESCO or NGO, if they are taking the steps to preserve the valuable heritage, then it also becomes the duty of the individuals, each one of us, to take effective role in that direction. In what direction? In direction of preserving our heritage. Teachers in the schools and colleges should impart the knowledge of India's glorious heritage. So the role is being played by the teachers in the schools and the colleges to not only give the information or to teach, but also to spread the awareness and also the knowledge about how to preserve this heritage. And students, we know that so far we have finished the 7 chapters we are completing. We have been talking in this 10th standard history. All the time we have been talking about our culture, preserving the culture, how to take care, how rich our culture. I mean culture, when we talk about culture, I am also telling you, I am also including about our landscape and natural heritage as well as our cultural heritage. And so we know that we are rich and it becomes our duty as a citizen of this country. It is a duty. Now, students as well as the common public should gain the knowledge of the unfamiliar places, monuments, ancient remains, sites, etc. So, students as well as the common public, people, not only the students but generally all the people should know about what? Have the knowledge about the unfamiliar places, also the monuments, ancient remains, sites, etc. They should help in their preservation and protection. Students as well as the public has to take care of the preserving of the culture, heritage. Everyone should take care of these monuments by preparing the list of all the heritage sites. Valuable things should not be destroyed, broken or stolen. So the valuable things, just as I told you, suppose while digging you find out some statues or some plates or some coins and all, they are valuable. They give us the lot of information about that particular era, particular period. And so students, it should not be, it becomes valuable from the point of history. And so therefore it should not be destroyed, it should not be taken it for granted, but everyone should take care of this, monuments also by preparing the list of the heritage sites. Okay, schools, colleges and NGOs should conduct programs like visit to the historical places and sites, speeches, exhibitions, discussions, seminars, etc. to create awareness towards the preservation of heritage. You know, last year, you people were not here in the high school, but we had the assemblies on our heritage. How rich, how rich our India is, not only in the natural but also in the cultural heritage. We also have been showing the different dances and what our culture has been. And so students, through assemblies, we try to bring the awareness among the students. And so students, so we can have it in a different way, which either visit to the sites. Some years back, we had gone to visit the historical places that was in Lothal as well as Mehsana side and all. We had gone to see the stepwell and all. And so students, what happens, we get exposure to those places, also we get the information about it. We can also have the speeches, exhibition, discussion, seminar. Many times we also have the debates and also on in the class, in the school. That is to create the awareness. If the specimen of the architecture, sculpture and historical monuments are destroyed once, it is very difficult to restore them to the original form. So we cannot, once suppose you found any statue and you find it is of no use and you are going to destroy it, you're going to throw it, or you're going to bend it. Students, we cannot restore it to its original size, original form. Yesterday also we studied about it. So it is a moral duty that they should not be destroyed and shifted to other place. Our country has rich and unique heritage. There are many ancient ponds, lakes, wells, steps, wells, streams, springs, etc. in different places in our country. We should take special care of Malav Lake, of Dholka, Rani Ki Vav of Patan, well of Champaner, Bhimrao well of Mehmedabad, Navgam well of Junagadh, etc. During the monsoon. We should constantly keep an eye on their preservation. Students, we are talking about Gujarat because we are right now we are studying in Gujarat board, and we being the Gujaratis, we need to take care of the things which are within our reach, the places where we can reach easily and where we can be, where we can be available. Now, cleanliness and preservation of picnic spots. What is that about the cleanliness about the picnic spots? It's that the central and state governments are taking proper steps for the cleanliness and preservation of our picnic spots. Consequently, special arrangement has been made for it. Religious historical places have always been a greater attraction among the local as well as foreign tourists. Henceforth, our government is attentive enough towards its preservation. So students, what central and the state government have been taking the proper steps for the cleanliness and the preservation of our picnic spots, wherever picnic spots have been, and consequently special arrangement has been made for it. Religious historical places have always been the greater attraction among the local as well as foreign tourists. You know students, the temples, mosques, churches have been our attraction. Whenever we go out, we like to visit those holy places or religious places. Also the historical places. And so, henceforth, our government is attentive enough towards its preservation. Now, what steps to be taken? Do not use plastic. Do not litter at picnic spots. Use dustbin. So student, what is it? First and foremost, do not use plastic. Second thing is that do not litter at picnic spots, but use dustbins. Then do not spoil historical monuments either by writing or drawing pictures. There are some people who have the bad habit of writing. You take a chalk or you write it with different pens, markers and all, your names, which is very bad, which spoils the historical monuments. Waste should be properly disposed of. So whenever you use something, it is a waste. It should be taken care of, that you dispose it off. Do not spit after eating tobacco or pan betel. So I would say that not only after eating tobacco or pan, but do not spit in the public places. Do not pollute surrounding areas of historical monuments. Do not pollute surrounding areas of the historical monuments. Wherever the historical monuments are, do not pollute that area. We saw the example of Taj Mahal, how the factories were, because of the air pollution of the factory, how the marble was getting spoiled. Extensive care should be taken during monsoon of historical monuments, which constitutes step wells, lakes, ponds, streams, etc., which we already studied, which are the places within our reach where we can easily reach. We should be taking proper care, especially in the during the monsoon. Be cautious while cleaning monuments with archaeological chemical methods. When you are using the chemicals, be careful, be cautious while using the chemicals and so on. Sanitize domestic and foreign visitors. Sensitize domestic and foreign visitors to avoid damage of our historical heritage. So we need to make the visitors, people, not only the foreigners but even our people, domestic, about the damage of our historical heritage. If natural disasters has caused damage to the historical places, make effort to bring it again to its original form. You know, due to the natural disaster, many times many historical places can get destroyed, but if it is possible, we can bring it back to its original form. It is our responsibility to maintain beauty and cleanliness of tourist places as they bring fame and prosperity to the nation. We should make use of science and technology to maintain the originality of our ancient heritage. So what is that? We should use science and technology to maintain the originality of our ancient heritage. How can we be doing this now? Also look here, India, unity in diversity. What happens due to the unity in diversity? Being one of the most ancient civilizations of the world, India has varied and rich cultural heritage. Being one of the most ancient civilizations of the world, we the Indians have varied and rich cultural heritage. I need not explain it to you. We have been studying these days. Diversity of India is its unique identity. You know, unity in diversity, we always talk about that slogan. India has a fine amalgamation of different castes, community, religion, tradition, culture, and languages, in spite of having variety. So, you know that ours is the country where the different caste, culture, language, people, religion, and all stay together with its variety of its own flavor and all, and so on. This is the amalgamation, that is the amalgamation, it's a mixture, it's a blend of it. Yet India stands united and undivided, something that is great. Still we are united. India has proved the feelings of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, whole family, whole world is our family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is a family, which is explained already here. This feeling exists in India since Vedic periods. Since Vedic periods, India has kept up this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or we also say Atithi Devo Bhava. All the guests are like God, equal to God. And so students, these are the something, this even helps us to make our Indian culture best or better. Okay? This feeling exists in India since Vedic period. Let us get good thoughts and vibrations from all four directions is the message of Rig Veda, which showcases the grandeur and glory of Indian culture. India has spread religious tolerance and secularism across the world. India has given, or India has shown the example to the people across the world. And what is that? About the religious tolerance and secularism. You know, we have studied about the secularism, all religions, so we are many religions, we are all give freedom and all, so on. Swami Vivekananda said the following words in the World Religious Conference, which was held in Chicago, US. I am proud to say that I represent the religion that has taught the lessons of tolerance, compassion, and universal fraternity to the world. Students, whose words are these? Whose sentence is this? It is being said by Swami Vivekananda. He is proud to say that. Where has he said? It is said in Chicago, that is in US. India is a secular country. India is a land of multi-religious influence of Hinduism, Islamism, Buddhism, Jainism, Christianity, etc. is seen in Indian culture. We know, we have been experiencing, students. I should not tell or I need not tell you, but we know that we have been celebrating all the festivals, we have been staying over here, living in harmony, all the religion, caste, culture and so on. Therefore, the torchbearers named our country as Bharatvarsha underlined by stressing on its unity, which reflects upon our broad outlook. Holy names of 7 sacred rivers have been used in our prayers. People including great sages, Sufi saints, Swami Vivekananda, Dayananda Saraswati and Mahatma Gandhi always stressed upon peace, coordination and universal brotherhood. So students, what is that? The torchbearers have named our country as a Bharatvarsha, whereas the holy names of 7 sacred rivers have been used in our prayer when we recite our prayers. And people including the great sages, the people well known like sadhus and all, they have given Sufi saints, Swami Vivekananda, Dayananda Saraswati and Mahatma Gandhi always stress upon peace, coordination and universal brotherhood. Unity in diversity is the unique feature of Indian culture, as at the end of the day, all the rivers amalgamate into the great ocean. Equivalently, our country conglomerates different religions, castes, languages, traditions, creed, customs and festivals. So students, what? Unity in diversity is the unique feature of our country, and at the end of the day, all the rivers amalgamate into the great ocean. All the rivers go and mix into the great ocean. Equivalently, our country conglomerates different religions. That is, our country has the different parts or different culture. There's diversity. We see that about the religion, caste, languages, traditions, creed, customs and festivals, which I already explained it to you. The people of India live their life with a feeling of coexistence. The people of India have conserved their this quality and have wonderfully enhanced it. So the people of India have conserved this quality and have wonderfully enhanced it, have been able to take care of it, have been improving in it and have been living this all. So students, over here we finish this chapter. Have a good day. I'll be sending you some more questions and so on.